Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos. His name is Bill Rice Jr., and we're speaking to you from our studios at Troy Cable Vision in Troy, Alabama, about 40 miles south of Montgomery, about 40 miles north of Dothan, and we're sitting in paradise in the confines of our studio right here at Troy Cable, and we've been doing this. At least I have since 1998. We have sat here and talked to you about what was going on in Troy and Pike County. And Bill Rice Jr., a very well-known native Trojan, is with us today, and as he is many days of the year. And how's everything going?
Going fine. Had some great sporting events, or heartbreaking sporting events for Troy fans, and then we got a lot happening in the world. Got a presidential election coming up and the Senate election too. So.
Isn't it amazing? It's just 2 weeks, is that right?
Yeah, I mean,
a Tuesday week, is that right?
It's not this Tuesday, it's next Tuesday.
That's right, and boy, what an election it's going to be.
Halloween's coming up.
But, you know, the election, and we can sit here and talk all day about it, it just doesn't seem like it's got the, you know, everybody says how important it is, but the hype is sort of laid back.
Well, Alabama is completely different than these swing states because everybody knows that Trump will win massively in Alabama.
Yeah.
So we're not getting the talk and the commercials, but Michael says in Florida it's wall-to-wall commercials, in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, New Mexico. There's about 9 swing states that'll determine this. And then the other new thing is a lot of people have already voted. That's a new thing. I can't either. And I mean, I've heard 50 million people, which is there's 5 million people in the state of Alabama, so there's 10 times more people than the population of Alabama that have already voted.
I mean, that would break all the records. How are they
going to record these votes, and when? How long will it take? And
I mean, how these people? Most of these people don't understand how they can vote. Are they doing it by computer?
Mail, I guess, but there's got to be all kind of fraud. I know they say there's not, but
I mean, now, and of
I
course,
didn't fall off the
by
turnip
mail,
truck yesterday.
Is somebody going by and picking it up, picking up the mail and putting a stamp on it and sending it out? Is that right?
Yeah.
Are they going to the doors and said, "Oh, look, here's your ballot. You need to fill it out, and I'll wait outside and go mail it."
I bet, yes.
That just doesn't sound right, does it?
I mean, I'm just speculating, but I would think, think of all these elections where there's not many votes, and then you got a ton of absentee ballots. Somebody has worked those absentee ballots, and this is kind of the same thing to me.
That's right. Of course, as we mentioned, we're coming to you on Facebook, so call your friends from out west or up north. If they're in New York City eating breakfast this morning, tell them to tune in to Facebook and go to T as is Troy, C as in cable, and 2 as in channel 2. So we hope that you'll tune in to us this morning. Brought to you by A1 Services, Cherry Moats, for air conditioning work, for heating work. How about this? People told me that I didn't know what I was talking about, but it was 10 degrees in Denver yesterday.
You're kidding.
I'm talking about 10 degrees and snowing.
I saw the snow.
And I'm gonna see how cold it is now. When that football game was going on, it was 10 degrees. Can you believe that?
Well, there was a big Arctic
Here we
blast
go.
that fell down.
Temperature for Denver, Colorado. Temperature for Denver, Colorado. You gave it to me. Only 9 degrees. How about that?
Gosh.
Let's do it one more time so they get it. Temperature for Denver, Colorado.
The high for today in Denver, Colorado will be 16 degrees.
The high
And the low will be 9.
The high is 16. Right now, it's 9 degrees in downtown Denver, Colorado. Can you believe that?
That's
The high for today in Denver, Colorado would be 16 degrees Fahrenheit.
Today is October the 20th.
And the low will be 9 degrees.
It's not even November.
Can you believe it?
No global warming in Denver today.
And Kansas City went in there and won their game without him hardly messing with it. You know, it's just amazing how they can play football in that kind of weather. Of course, we've got a lot of sports to talk about. We've got the presidential election to talk about. We've got our COVID-19 to talk about. And, what's the latest on it?
Well, I was looking yesterday, and there was like 60,000 new cases with 400 deaths. I mean, 60,000 cases on a Sunday is pretty high usually.
Boy, that is. Mike Amos calling in from Graydon Beach, Florida. How you doing? Are you on Zoom this morning, or are you by phone?
I'm on camera. I don't know if I'll be picked up on Zoom or not, but yeah, I'm on this morning.
Okay. Mike Amos, Gordon, did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, I was heartbroken to see Jalen Waddle get hurt. I mean, I think that's going to definitely probably cost Alabama a national championship. You just can't lose a guy that great of a player. I mean, I know Alabama's backup, the Bolden kid, had almost 100 yards receiving and played really well. But I don't know, Bill. What do you think? Losing Waddle is pretty big.
Yeah, like you say, Michael, he would make could make two or three game-changing plays a game. And so those plays are gone. On the bright side, Alabama's offense didn't look like it missed a beat against Tennessee anyway. But, it's so sad when this happens. And you wonder, that other players in the country in Alabama are going to look at this high NFL draft choice that, might have just lost them millions of dollars and say, is this worth it to even keep risking playing?
I tell you what, though, they'll risk everything on Waddle because he's a game breaker if I've ever seen one.
I'm talking about the players themselves.
The players themselves. They're going to opt out and not play now. When like Waddle getting hurt and costing me millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's right. Sure could. But that's something we will be talking about later on in our show.
I mean, I'll say this. Tennessee, from the first game that I saw them play this year to when they played Missouri, I am shocked about how bad they have gotten. I mean, they looked about as bad as I've ever seen them on Saturday. I mean, they had no effort whatsoever. I mean, Pruitt, I thought, he might, have Tennessee close to Florida and Georgia, and now he might be trying to just keep his job.
Hey,
that was really, really bad.
You're right. I felt like the same way. You could tell Alabama wanted it more than Tennessee. I don't know what the deal is. And of course, they passed out cigars. I reckon, Rice, did they?
I didn't get on social media and look at all the pictures. I hope they did kept the tradition going.
Yeah, but surely they didn't let them light it up, though, did they?
Oh yeah, they lined him up in the locker room. And everybody.
And the fire marshal gonna come in there, yeah.
It's considered a secondary violation, so Alabama gets charged a number, I guess like 2 violations for letting them do the cigars.
I love the story that Bill Rice Sr., Bill's dad, who played at Alabama, played on national championship at Alabama. One Tennessee game, after the game, Coach Bryant was carrying around cigars to hand out to each player. Who became traditional that if you won, you got cigars to hand out to your players. And of course, yes, a real cigar, ladies and gentlemen, and they lit the cigar up. Well, he got, I want to say, I can't tell you exactly the player's name, but when Coach Bryant got to his locker, he said, "Son, here's your cigar." He said, "Coach, if you don't mind, I'll smoke I brought my own cigarettes. I think it was Pale Mail or something." And he lit up his cigarette instead of a cigar. That's hard to believe, but they said that happened.
I think Dad saw it happen, and I've heard that story too many times. It must be true. I think it was one of Dad's buddies.
Yeah.
Of course, Troy loses a heartbreaking game, loses their quarterback, possibly is now going to have to fight to get to 5 wins, 6 wins. I don't even see it happening, really. I mean, man, Troy is really in a tough spot they're going to possibly go into Arkansas State this week about their starting quarterback, and Arkansas State's desperate for a victory.
What's the injury to Gunner?
It looks like rib injury.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I was impressed with him for the time he was in it, and I was impressed with the young man from Brantley who replaced him. I thought he came in there, and, you know, if the guys would have caught the passes that were right in the hands with the kid from Brantley, he wouldn't have missed a beat.
He had 300 yards passing.
Yeah, the 330 yards passing without any practice reps. You know, he said after the game, the press conference, you know, he basically didn't get any reps all week. So maybe the full-time reps, you know, he'll be.
Well, he looked like he. Yeah, you're right. I don't think when you're going for two, you throw what everybody has got to be. I don't care what you're saying. You're sitting there drinking a cup of coffee, and if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. Is that the hardest pass in football to throw is that corner lob pass, you know, and doggone, he threw it 10 yards over everybody's head. You know, but what I'm saying, why do you run that play? Why don't you run a play action
or
play?
Why don't you run the ball?
Where if it's, that's what I'm fitting to say, if it's not there, run it in, you know, or run the bootleg.
Well, Bill, that was the problem the whole game. They couldn't run the ball. They only rushed for 40 yards.
Well, did they really try it much? That one guy had a pretty good average. I've always just thought your odds of getting 3 yards when the defense thinks you might pass are probably a lot better than throwing that pass Mike just described.
Or at least have a pass or a run, you know, a bootleg pass or run if the.
But 90%, what y'all say on 2-point conversions? 90% of the time it's going to be a pass.
Yeah. Or double reverse pass.
Georgia State knew what was coming. They rolled 3 out to the right. They had the tight end underneath. The tight end got covered by 2 guys, and then McLean, the big 6'4" guy, went to the back corner of the end zone, and Free just made a horrible pass. You got to at least just throw it up and give the guy a chance to jump up and catch it.
Well, I got a confession to make.
Troy never should have been in that situation. I mean, Georgia State gave the game away pretty much. They fumbled with a minute 30
I know
seconds
that was unreal.
Okay, so I turned over. Georgia State got the ball back, and I said, "Well, that's the ball game." I told my wife, "That's it." And I turned it off, and then later I go check the score, and I say, "My gosh, Troy!" So y'all tell me how did Troy get the ball back, and then how did they go down the field?
Their great running back coach was basically just running the clock out, and unbelievably, the Troy guy came up. I think it was that kid out of Thompson that's been pretty good for Troy. Poked the ball out, and Nixon recovered and ran it back to about the 50-yard line, and then Troy basically scored with about 30 seconds left. Troy also recovered an onside kick, Bill. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, they sure did, and that was real close. And I believe they were.
Yeah, on the field, the ref said it was Troy's ball, and I don't see how they could have came up with inconclusive evidence that he didn't.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yards when he called it. I thought that was a pretty bad call, actually.
So Troy could have had the ball back again.
That's right.
Oh, that's
with 30-something seconds left, and how many timeouts? I think they had two timeouts left, didn't they?
No, they burned all the time.
Oh, they had. Okay.
Well, that would have been a win for the ages right there. After that win against East Kentucky,
it would have been great.
Ran out.
Yeah.
It was a great. It still turned out to be.
Well, they kept fighting though. That's good.
Super game. I'm telling you, 36-34. Troy goes for 2 and loses. Of course, that was a very good team, I thought, from Georgia State, Mike. They could score on anybody, don't you think?
Well, they scored 52 against Arkansas State.
Yeah.
And they were only 1-2 in the game. Their starting quarterback, Brown, is out of Calera, a big 6'5".
But he's skinny as a rail. That kid, I bet he didn't weigh 180 pounds, Mike.
But, Troy got 2 defensive touchdowns. He tried to give the game away. Troy threw an interception.
Yeah.
And then he got sacked and fumbled. So Troy goes up 21.
10, was it 21-10?
And then they go for a field goal for the house. Detroit's up 21-13 at the half.
And let me tell you this, I'll tell you what they need. They need to have a field goal contest between somebody because this guy missed another chip shot field goal. You can't, everybody's saying, oh, how do you jump on the kicker? Well, let me tell you this, when it should be automatic inside the 30-yard line. Inside the 30-yard line, it should be automatic as far as the snapper, the holder, and the kicker. But on the pros last night, yesterday, You know, they call the pros the crooked lead, and yesterday was the best example I've ever seen of the crooked lead. I mean, how these teams come back. I mean, when do you find fault in a player that scores a touchdown? Hey, he got scolded because he didn't hit the ground and stop the clock. I mean, and run out the clock. Instead, he scored a touchdown, and then the old boy from the Lions, and he might be the best that ever lived on taking a team the length of the field and winning at the end. Talking about Stafford for the Lions, Mike.
Yeah.
You don't give him time, I promise you. And that's exactly what they did. And you know what he did? He won the ball game on the last play of the game.
I have made that point in a lot of games that there are scenarios where the only way you can win is let them score, and give yourself some time to at least get the game in overtime. And yeah, I heard that happen twice.
And what we're saying is too, if it's not who was the kid, the former Georgia running back? Gurley.
All he had to do was
hit a knee, and the other team didn't have any timeouts.
Yeah.
Detroit didn't have any more.
But they still would have had to make the field goal, right?
Yeah, but it would have been a. You know,
oh yeah, it would have been inside the 10-yard line. Yeah. I tell you what.
Well, I didn't watch the game, but didn't the exact same thing happen in Indiana Penn State, where Penn State scored, Indiana came all the way down the field, and maybe that was in overtime.
I mean, I still don't know if that Indiana guy got that ball over the top. I mean, hit the pylon. I mean, that was one of the best innings of a game you'll ever see. I'm talking about inches. He hit that pylon in the air to win the game. You told y'all earlier, I thought Indiana would play them tough, and they did. But man, that's got to be heartbreaking for Penn State fans starting the season that way.
Yeah, that's right. It was tough, and but like you said, it was a good Indiana team that did it. You know, another.
I tell you what, LSU looks a lot better than I thought they would against South Carolina as well. You know, LSU and Auburn.
Oh gosh, y'all! How in the world does that South Carolina team beat Auburn? And how in the world does anybody even think about South Carolina beating LSU? It's like a grown man going up against a little first grader. I really thought it was that big a difference.
Auburn might be the luckiest team on the planet, though. I mean, how in the world did that guy? I mean, obviously he thought he hit his finger. He went to chase after the ball on that kickoff late in the game. You know, Ole Miss is going to be up by 8. You know, because they recovered the fumble in the end zone. Auburn's got 2 unbelievable calls.
I thought it hit his finger and his chin.
Tell me about that. I didn't see it. I want to hear about it. What happened?
Shivers late in the game.
Shivers is their speedy running back. Is that right, or wide receiver?
Yeah, and the kickoff guy kicks it short, and it bounces, and it looks like it hits Shiver on the finger. He starts running after the ball in the end zone trying to recover. Ole Miss guy recovered it for a touchdown. And they didn't even review it. They didn't even stop the clock.
Oh, man.
They looked at it, and Auburn, you know, was able to get a snap off.
Every team needs to have somebody in the box reviewing for their team stuff like that and stopping it.
And next thing you know, Auburn, you know, goes on a drive, you know, scores a touchdown, goes for 2, goes up by 7, wins the game. But I mean, Ole Miss would have gone up by 8.
That would have been something.
That would have, well, it wouldn't have sealed the game, but Auburn could have come down and put it in overtime. But, yeah, that's 2 calls, game-deciding calls that have gone Auburn's way. They've got the luck of the Irish.
They really do. They really do.
I mean, Malzahn, can you imagine that if we wake up and they're 1-3? I mean, he could be possibly losing his job.
Yeah, I know.
You know, in the Kentucky game, he won the Kentucky game, and there were some calls in that Kentucky game that went Auburn's way.
Yeah.
There was a touchdown that Kentucky had that they didn't give Kentucky, and then the next play, Kentucky throws a pick 6 or something.
And then I was very, very right. I was the only one that thought that Missouri could beat could beat Kentucky, and they beat them like a yard dog. Let me tell you what. Somebody's got a mean on over there in Missouri. They'll hit you in the mouth, and they just.
I tell you what, they got a good coach.
They really do, and their team will, just like against Kentucky, they just slammed them to the ground, Stop the run. I got to do is stop the run.
Eli Drinkerwich was at Appalachian State for 1 year. 1 year, first time ever as a head coach, 12 games, and now he's already beaten LSU and Kentucky. No one ever would have thought that would have happened in Missouri this year.
Exactly.
I mean, this guy could really, really coach.
Yeah.
And then you got Satterfield. You know, he left Appalachian State, went to Louisville. They've struggled to start the season. They blew out Florida State this weekend.
And now, let me tell you this: there's no question who has the best football team in the Sun Belt. It's Appalachian State. Boy, it looked like they were playing with boys, Mike. They are good. They are real good. And they're led by a quarterback from Alabama, Mike. The quarterback that's so great for them is from Alabama.
Yeah, we talked about that. Dugas, Troy's team doctor that works for Andrews, Jeffrey Dugas' secondary son is Zach Thomas. That is the starting quarterback at Appalachian State. Played at Hewitt Trustful.
And he is a big-time player, too. There's no question about it.
How about this? Louisiana Lafayette shocks the world, at least to me, and breaks UAB's 21-game home winning streak. Wins that in Birmingham on Friday night.
Yeah, that does tell you a little bit.
Had to come back and win. UAB was up by 10 two different times, but big win for Lafayette against UAB.
Yeah. Well, talking about Troy, and ladies and gentlemen, we're proud of Troy. Let me tell you, it was a heck of a football game. I'm telling you that right now. And of course, it rained and rained and rained. But hey, look, Mike, when I got to my seat, it never rained again.
Stopped just in time.
It stopped again.
What was the crowd like for homecoming? What was it?
Well, it was wonderful. It was hard. It was not very crowded, and you could go to your locker. You could go get food. You could watch games on TV without any problem. It was a wonderful place to be for a college football game, and from kickoff on, and the sound of the South was brilliant. Let me tell you this: you want to make me cry? You want to make me cry? Just put me in the bleachers over there where the band is. At the end of the game, when they do their concert, and they start playing America, and they start playing the Alma Mater, and they play all these wonderful songs, it puts tears in my mind. But nobody can play it like that Sound of the South. I mean, how great thou art. I mean, nobody does it better than the Sound of the South right here. But the patriotic songs that they sang, that they played and everything, just made me want to be an American so bad. I mean, let me tell you this: if you can't get excited about what now?
You are an American, man.
I know it, but what I'm saying, hey, if you can't be an American after you hear that music and feel that great feeling that you have of freedom, you're in the wrong place.
So let's look at Troy's schedule the rest of the way. What do you think Troy's record's going to be when it's all said and done?
All right. Tell me who they're going to have a hard time beating Arkansas State at Arkansas State, but
I don't know. Arkansas State's defense is absolutely horrible. It's hard to believe they beat Kansas State. Kansas State hadn't lost the game.
And Kansas State is really good, and you know who they coach by, don't you?
Yeah, the former North Dakota State coach.
People, you don't win. I don't know how many he won in a row, but you don't win all the games that he won at.
He didn't win them all. I mean, they just had to. I think he won some of those, but not all of them. North Dakota State.
His name's Chris Klondon.
Yeah, and of course he won all those games for
North Dakota
State. And they've won more championships than anybody around. And you're right, that was a good pick for Kansas State. Because let me tell you something, some guys just know how to win, and this guy just knows how to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Neil Brown continues to struggle at West Virginia. You know, I was telling Dad over the weekend, it's interesting to note Neil Brown is 3-2 this year. Chip Lindsey's 3-2.
Yeah.
They both went 5-7 last year. So they have the exact same records. Troy and West Virginia as coaches. All right, Troy will go to Arkansas State on Halloween, 2 p.m. game.
All right, I'll pick Troy in an upset here. Troy in an upset.
I got to take Arkansas
You
State.
said it's going to be on Halloween night?
No, afternoon, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, okay.
Bill, who do you like?
With a new quarterback and, you know, Arkansas State's still Arkansas State. I have to go with Arkansas State, but Troy can easily win.
I tell you one thing, they got to go up against is that nose guard. Boy, he's pretty good at
And that
nose
wide
tackle.
receiver, they got a great wide receiver too.
Oh, that big guy, yeah.
Then Troy travels to Georgia Southern. I'm going to say they lose to Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern's pretty good.
I don't know though, Mike. For some reason, Troy sort of got their number. Troy has beaten Georgia Southern 3 times in a row. That'll tell you something.
But they're due. Georgia Southern's due.
But you're right with the young and with this young quarterback. Is there a chance that the quarterback could come back for Troy?
Yeah, man. You would think any quarterback come back for a rib injury.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you one thing. He looked real good throwing the football until he got hurt. Did you think he was throwing that ball on the line, Mike?
Hey, Gunnar Watson?
Yeah, I mean he was throwing the ball very well until he got hurt.
I mean, he's playing the difference in winning the game. Yeah, him getting hurt, I would think.
Yeah. Well,
all right, so you're at Georgia Southern after that. So, I mean, I've got Troy losing the next 2, so that has us going 3 and 4. Dad, I think you have them winning one of those games.
Yeah, that's right.
Then you turn around after that, and you're playing a team that's ranked undefeated, one with their backup quarterback against Georgia Southern by 14. Coastal Carolina comes in on the 14th.
You mean they weren't even playing with their first team quarterback?
No, and they beat Georgia Southern by 14.
Boy.
I mean, look at this stretch here. At Arkansas State, at Georgia Southern, hosting Coastal Carolina.
Yep, that's another tough one.
Yeah.
Be a good game for the fans, though.
But again, I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I really do.
I mean, I got Troy looking at 3 and 5.
Yeah.
3 and 5. I mean, I think they're going to lose all 3 of those.
Okay.
That's why I thought this game was so
All right,
important.
well, I'm going to get you your Georgia car tags this afternoon, and I'm going to drive all the way to Florida and put them on your vehicle.
No, I mean, I'm just saying that's how tough these games are going to be.
I know it. When in fact, me and you gonna get in your truck and drive to Columbus, Georgia, and meet the coach from Georgia Southern at the highway there, and let you sign the papers to change over.
Chad Lunsford.
And for you to go ahead and change over.
So Troy will now play. After that, they'll be back at home on the 21st. They'll play Middle Tennessee State in a must-win game. Of course, they'll have to beat Middle Tennessee for the second time. Middle Tennessee now has won 2 games. They beat Rice over the weekend. Rice missed 5 field goals.
Did they really?
Oh, God.
And Middle Tennessee won the game. But after that, you go to Appalachian State and have to play at Appalachian State. I mean, how tough this schedule is down the stretch.
You know, and you know the sad thing about the Appalachian State game, I give Troy no chance to win that game. That's how bad it is.
I give them a chance.
That to me, that's how much better though Appalachian State is than anybody in the conference.
Then you're back home on the 5th to play La Monroe. That's a makeup game. Troy should beat La Monroe. Then I think the season comes down to at Hank Whitney Stadium, the new stadium at South Alabama. South Alabama's won 2 in a row. They're looking pretty good. Troy, I think, will be 5 and 6, trying to get to 6 wins against South Alabama on December the 12th to try to get bowl eligible. Of course, I think this year you don't have to have 6 wins to get bowl eligible because most teams aren't playing 12 games. But I'm looking at maybe 5 and 7, 6 and 6 at best.
I'm gonna go at least 6 and 6. I'm thinking that we're going to a bowl game.
Well, it's just, man, I wish if you could have won the game Saturday, which you had every chance to win, then you got momentum, and then you go and you're feeling good about yourself. You're in contention for the Sun Belt title, and then you go beat Arkansas State, and then that propels you to the next game. I just believe in momentum, and then we lost a lot of it Saturday.
Well, you know, yesterday in the pros.
I'll say this. I mean, Troy played a lot better than they did against Eastern Kentucky, so they did show improvement.
Yeah. Mike, who's the best field goal kicker in maybe the last 10 years in the pros? Who would you say the best field goal kicker would be?
Probably the guy that was in New England that missed the kick for the Titans.
Gronkowski, was his name Gronkowski?
Yeah.
Well, he missed 2 yesterday, including the one to tie the game, and they both went wide to the right, just barely wide to the right. But he's at one time was considered the best field goal kicker in the world, but now he's having troubles, and he's the reason Tennessee lost the game.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of that.
But how many times though when Gronkowski kicked it, it was just automatic.
Isn't that the tight end, Gronk?
It might not have been Gronkowski, but something like that. What's his name?
It's a name very similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course he was considered the best field goal kicker in the world at one time. But
maybe it's Janikowski.
Janikowski was that Russian that kicked for Oakland Raiders. Wasn't that Janikowski?
He was Polish.
Polish, is that what he was? Let me jump off of.
Roethlisberger threw 3 interceptions, though.
I know it, but they held our guy to 75 yards, bless his heart. But every time he ran it, they were just waiting for him. That Pittsburgh defense was.
You talking about Derrick Henry?
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
How did Pike LeBlanc come out?
They got drilled.
They got blown out.
They said that they went up against a team that is really good, and of course they were number one.
Gostkowski's his name. G-O-S.
Yeah, Gronkowski, yeah.
Oh.
K-O-W-S-K-I-apostrophe-S.
And he kicked with New England for a long time. Is that right?
Yeah, he did. Pike LeBlanc's got to be 26-7. I think it was closer in the fourth quarter, maybe, but I think that's their second loss this season. Is that right, Doug?
Yeah, I'm hoping they can make the playoffs, and of course, the championships are played right here in town.
They'll make the playoffs.
All right, well, so there's a chance that they could play
rematch.
The same team for a chance to win the championship, hopefully. But there's another team, that is really good too. It's called Monroe, and they play them this weekend. They've had more trouble with Monroe Academy out of Monroeville than any team I think they've ever played. They're really good, Monroe.
Have you been to that school many times? Called any basketball games?
No, I never did work much over there.
I've never been either.
It was a very nice school, And but it's not a Division III school though. It's a Division II school. I want to say.
Monroe has, yeah.
Monroe Academy is.
Yeah, check that out. I don't know if they're 3A or 2A.
They've been up here at the triple header many times.
And of course, that's a big event coming to Troy. I hope they put that on. I hope that's not called out.
No, they'll definitely have the championships here. I mean, you want to have social distance, and you want to have it in a big stadium. It'd be a perfect location.
Right now, I want to jump away from.
I mean, Pike LeBlanc. I mean, how do you look at their season if they don't, win a state championship with all these transfers and stuff like that? I mean, is it disappointing, or is it one of those type things that first year head coach? I mean, I feel like they're still having a good year, in my opinion.
Yeah. Both.
All right, right now I want to get away from football just a second to read you something. Hodges joins Troy Regional Medical Center. Troy Regional Medical Center is excited to introduce General Surgeon Leroy W. Hodges to Troy, Pike County, Alabama, and surrounding communities. Hodges is a board certified by the American Board of Surgery and is a fellow of the American Board of Surgery. Hodges, here it is a graduate of the University of Illinois College of Medicine and completed his residency at Mayo Clinic in Minnesota Graduate School of Medicine. He also spent time at Mayo Clinic Health System in Fairmont, Minnesota. That's the main hospital, as chairman of the Department of Surgery. Karen Herring, Troy Regional Medical Center in marketing, said, with more than 25 years of surgical experience, Hodges understands the complexities that come with the practice in rural communities and looking forward to serving Troy and surrounding area. Hodges quickly agreed that he is excited about being at Troy Regional Medical Center with a smile, and that he at heart is a rural guy in the backwoods man, and having practiced his trade in Minnesota, Maine, Vermont, and let me get one in right here. He is proud to be out of the snow and in Alabama, and looking forward to being part of the medical staff at Troy Regional Medical Center. What it says here, it says one of the schools that he went to and worked at was Harvard. You ever heard of Harvard? Troy's got a Harvard doctor now.
That did his intern residency at Mayo Clinic, the most
did his
famous
residency
hospital in America.
That's right. There.
You had me at Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
Why now? Yeah.
You had me when you said the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're exactly right. And he's also did work at Harvard. So we've got a Harvard surgeon now in Troy, Alabama. I'm awfully proud to say. And Karen Herring, I tell you what, people don't applaud her as much as they should.
Yeah,
she does a great job bringing in these doctors.
Fine lady.
And we want to welcome. And I wasn't trying to be silly, reading everything about him, but you don't have many Harvard doctors or Mayo Clinic doctors come to Troy Regional Medical Center every day,
Nope, I'm glad you brought that to our attention. That's quite a story.
And of course, that our hospital is very important to us.
And having a surgeon is very important. A qualified, excellent surgeon. That's life and death stuff there, buddy.
No question about it. Sharika King.
Do you want to do a recap of college football for the week?
Yeah, we will. I want to congratulate Sharika King as the homecoming queen at Pike County High School. And also, Pike Liberal Arts celebrated its homecoming Friday night. And Addie Garrett, a little girl we watched grow up, was named queen on Friday at homecoming at Pike Liberal Arts. Also, in the attendance were Taylor Ellis, Kinsey Beth Ray, Elisa Barron, Eileen Wilson, Caroline Lindsay, Ivy White, Sarah Broaden Garrett, that might be her sister, Lakin Harold D. Allen, Kaylee Copeland, Olivia Barron, Morgan Bundy, Avery Henderson, and Tiffany Johnson. Reason I did not name any of the attendants here, let's see here. No, let me do this again for Pike County High School. The queen, homecoming queen for 2020 is Bria Ashun Caffey. Bria Ashun Kathy is the homecoming queen, and also she was crowned by the 2019 homecoming queen, Sharika King. So we got that straight, and we did not know the attendance for that group, and would love to have called their names out. And another thing, ladies and gentlemen, all you have to, if you want to see growth of Troy, look at one big building south of Troy that makes guns and other
makes rifles and handguns.
Yeah, it makes all kinds of them. It's a big industry in Troy. And this huge, and I mean huge, industry called Rex Lumber, which is north of Troy. If you want to see something huge that is...
I haven't seen it in a while. I'm going to go out there.
Boy, it is something. It is huge.
I went to their groundbreaking.
Yeah. And let me tell you something that it might, I don't mean to sound tacky sometimes, but I am tacky. It's just part of me. But let me tell you this. They put their money where their mouth is. You know what I'm saying? Not only do they put up millions and millions of dollars of their own money.
$80 million.
Exactly. And they built this huge facility and they have hired a lot of people. It is the best industry you could ever ask for. One that paid his own way. We didn't have to buy them like a lot of folks have. They went ahead and put their money up, and they went ahead and they hired.
It's a family business from Florida.
And it is huge. It's got to be. It's big. It's 5 times bigger than any other building in Pike County. I'll tell you.
Oh, it is huge. Yeah.
It's big, and it's so well
And when
done.
they make that big an investment, they're not going to be leaving anytime soon. I mean, so they're in the timber and lumber business, and they buy and sell timber from and that's also good for the timber owners.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's people like. Well, I have a little timber.
Do you ever cut any and sell it?
Well, yes, I have over the year. We have over the years. But what I was fixing to say is, if you got timber, well, you got it in a place now you can sell it. You know what I'm saying? They'll give you top dollar for timber. That's the most. The reason that there's not a lot of people cutting timber, or whenever that happens, right now I think it's real good. But when you don't see people cutting timber, it's when the price is not right. You know what I mean? Your price has got to be right on timber when you cut it and whatever. Now Troy has a big time. I'm talking about big time timber company right here in town.
Rex Lumber.
Can't get as excited enough about that.
And then the gun manufacturers, Kimber, they must be doing great business because people are buying guns and ammunition.
Well, and I couldn't help but notice this birthday here. It says Robert K.T. Cole III had a birthday this weekend. Had one of K.T. Cole's grandchildren, I think, and the third. And every time you pick up a messenger, you see a long list of birthdays. I don't know where they're getting them all.
Look, Don Maestri.
Don Maestri, yeah, he lives up in
Robin Sullivan
lives up in Tuscaloosa. You know, I know a lot of people.
I wish Maestri and Felix would come back and be more part of the program.
Fred Holland.
I wish you could see Coach Maestri at more Troy games.
Yeah, well, he was an exciting coach to watch.
He was coaching just a couple of years ago, though. I mean, he was.
I noticed.
He was at A&M.
And a long list of Sally Reeves, the late great Miss Sally Reeves had a birthday. And listen to this, Grady had one too, Mike. Grady and his mama were born on the same day.
Grady had a birthday yesterday. John's birthday's the 28th.
Well, Miss Sally would have had a birthday today. Miss Sally would have had a birthday today, and Grady, her son, had a birthday today or this week.
Becky Kirby.
And
Danny Kelly.
Yeah, that's right. Tucker Rainey had a birthday. That's a great name. Of course.
Tucker Rainey. I wonder if is that one of Jack Rainey's grandchildren?
I think it is. I want to say.
Yeah, y'all want to take a commercial break?
Yeah, we will. We'll take a commercial break. We'll be right back. All right, brother. You doing good?
I bet they get those birthdays from Facebook.
Well, I don't know if we're through or not. We'll have to wait a second. Of course, the show's brought to you by Ideal Graphics. Boy, they do a lot of great things for business people and school people, and we appreciate what they do for us. And also, Southeast Alabama Gas District, located in Troy, Alabama, but their headquarters is in Andalusia, with numerous stores all over Southeast Alabama and Central Alabama. And of course, I cook with gas and I heat with gas. Man, I'm a believer in gas for your home, and we appreciate it. It's clean and it's efficient, and they do a great job. Of course, a good article today in this weekend's Messenger, and Janie Treadwell doesn't get enough attention. What a wonderful person she is, and what a great citizen she is, and just to read her columns, and it says horrors of October 31st past, and she wrote about these the fun of Halloween, but then some people get scared to death. You know, when that little child comes up to your doors, and my wife used to get on me all the time. I used to wear a mask, and I'd wear that mask to the door, and she said, "How would you like to be that little girl? All she wanted was a piece of candy, and you wanted to scare the living daylights out of her. Why do you want to do that?"
She's gonna remember
and
that.
it is the truth. Don't scare these little children to death. All they want is a little piece of candy. That's all they want, and then they'll go their way.
No, it's trick or treat. She'll remember that. Little kids will remember that forever.
I know it, but some of these that mask I had was awfully scary. But I used to, but now I very rarely would I ever wear. I'd take it off when little bitty children would come up there. But some of those 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, I used to scare them pretty bad.
Well, our children are ready. Jack is going to be Spider-Man, and Maggie is going to be a little police officer, police lady.
Well, that's great. That's great. Of course, Halloween's a fun time. Be careful, though, being out there in the traffic. And
how you do Halloween with COVID going on? Is that
I know. Yeah, you're right. How do you do it?
I think you find out what families are going to do it and what aren't. But I don't think you can really. Government can't block it. If you want to do it, you do it.
Yeah. Doug Jones, Mike, is trying to beat Coach Tuberville, but most people don't give him a chance. What do y'all think?
He has no chance at all winning Alabama. That was.
And just remember, every time we see him written up in the paper, he's got this T-shirt that he's showing 6. Tommy Tuberville beat Auburn 6 straight times. Is that right?
Alabama.
He beat Alabama.
He beat Alabama. What I say? Beat Alabama 6 straight times.
He sure did.
I mean, I'll say this. I mean, Doug Jones. I mean, the whole thing with Luther Strange getting appointed. I mean, I went to church with Luther Strange. I really liked him. He's a great guy. Super nice. His wife's super nice.
He went to your church, didn't he?
Yeah. The controversy of Bentley appointing him, and then they did a special election, and of course Moore just blew out Luther Strange, and then all of a sudden, Moore has all the controversy. Everybody thought for sure he was going to be a U.S. senator, and next thing you know, Jones comes in. Of course, Jones, had done a lot of great things, as far as in the law field. But a Democrat winning this day and age for senator was unheard of. I mean, don't you agree, Bill?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's stunned.
Something Moore had going on. I guess all the bad publicity Moore had cost him the election.
Yeah, it was the political news of the country for a couple days when Doug Jones won. And I thought when he won, well, I hope he enjoys his 2.5 years because that's all he's going to get. But he's not going down without a fight. He's working really hard again, and I see his commercials all the time. But who knows?
If you go to Mountain Brook, there's Doug Jones on every other house. Different parts of the state, are strong supporters of him. But that's not going to be enough to win the election.
No, I'm like you. I think he'll lose by 12 points at least.
All right, let's do a recap of the weekend, Dad. It all started with Arkansas State going to Appalachian State. Appalachian State blew out Arkansas State 45-17. And then on the 23rd, Jacksonville State goes on the road and plays Florida International and wins 19-10. So Jacksonville State beat a Division I team.
Jacksonville State is getting so much exposure. Jacksonville State is getting so much exposure now in football that some conference might want to pick them up. They got a great marching band. They got all those ballerinas. I mean, they bring a lot of pageantry to the football game too.
Then you had Tulsa beating South Florida 42-13. You had Wisconsin beating Illinois 45.
Slow it down a little bit. I can't computerize it in my brain what you're saying. Go ahead.
Wisconsin won on Friday night. They looked really good. They beat Illinois 45-7.
Yeah.
Lafayette beat UAB 24-20. That broke UAB's 21-game home winning streak.
Is Lafayette undefeated?
No, their only loss is at home to Coastal Carolina.
Okay.
Surprising here, the line was 48. At one time, the Clemson-Syracuse game was 27-21.
Golly, and that line was one of the largest lines ever. Is that right?
Yeah. The final score is 47-21. Louisville destroyed Florida State 48-16. So you don't know what you're going to get in the ACC. Florida State had just beat North Carolina. Memphis beat Temple 41-29. North Carolina blew out NC State 48-21. Kansas State has only lost one game. They beat Kansas 55-14. Shocker of the day, Rutgers goes to Michigan State.
I know it.
Their new head coach in Rutgers wins 38-27.
I noticed that line went from 12 to something like 7. We should have known something right then, shouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Coastal Carolina is undefeated. They win 28-14 over Georgia Southern. TCU at TCU 33-14. Ohio State won 52-17. I don't think a lot of people realize this game was 24-14 at the half. So Nebraska played them tough for a half, and then Ohio State just absolutely destroyed them. I think Justin Fields was like 24 or 25 for like 300 yards.
They're going to be tough to beat.
How bad do you think Georgia fans and Kirby Smart look back on what happened with Justin Fields? I mean, that's got to be one of the worst decisions ever.
Yeah.
Choose Jake Fromm over Justin Fields.
That's right.
Auburn wins 35-28. Liberty is undefeated. Hugh Freeze is 6-0. They beat Southern Miss 56-35. Where's Hugh Freeze going to get that job?
Boy, he's going to get one somewhere. You know, before you get to it, let me tell you, the hottest team out there might be the best coached team out there, might be the most physical team out there, the University of Cincinnati. Have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah, they put it on SMU, won 42-13.
Okay, now, against a very good, the whole SMU, the 13 points. Everybody's saying that this Cincinnati team is one of the best defenses around. And they're coached by a guy that coached at Ohio State for a long time. Is that right?
Yeah, he was defense coordinator Luke Fickell. He was also the interim coach there at one time. He was him and Neil Brown were the leading two candidates for the West Virginia job. You think West Virginia?
Yeah, they could have got Luke Fickell instead of our ex-coach. Pickle is a great coach.
UCF beat Tulane 51-34. Marshall won 20-9 over Florida Atlantic. Middle Tennessee in overtime beat Rice 40-34. Shocking game here. Wake Forest beat Virginia Tech 23-16.
I know it. You know, they were supposed to be real good with their quarterback, and of course he left, and evidently the backup must be pretty good.
And then another surprise here, Purdue beat Iowa 24-20. A lot of people like Iowa.
I know it, and the coach was was being wasn't even at the game, was he? He was on quarantine, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
He had COVID. Yeah, Texas bounces back, beats Baylor 27-16. Oklahoma State stays undefeated. Remember, Oklahoma State has not lost. Beat Iowa State 24-21. Houston goes to Navy and wins 37-21, so Houston's pretty good.
Yeah.
Indiana upsets Penn State 36-35. Alabama wins 48-17. Mac Jones throws for right under 400 yards. Najee Harris is right under 100 yards rushing. Almost had 600 yards total offense.
Yeah. And they weren't even close, and Alabama just completely outclassed them, or what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it was never close. I mean, Alabama dominated. And I'll say this, Bill. I mean, you're starting to see signs of a defense coming along again at Alabama.
Yeah.
They're starting to win the line of scrimmage, and they're starting to make plays.
And then they rush ends. They've got to have good rush ends. Are they developing good rush ends?
No pass rush whatsoever.
They're fun defense.
Yeah.
They I didn't see number 31 even play, did he?
Yeah, Will Anderson played. Now, Ray didn't play again.
Bray, yeah. When they get him back, he'll help them. Number 13 had a scoop score on the fumble. He's a freshman. He looks good.
Yeah, kid out of Trussell, Malachi Moore. There's so many good athletes out of Trussell right now.
Yeah.
Shocking game to me. Notre Dame won 45-3 at Pittsburgh. I thought Pittsburgh would play them tougher.
Yeah.
Dad called this upset. Missouri was 20-10 over Kentucky.
Yep.
Boston College won 48-27 over Georgia Tech. Troy falls to Georgia State. The line at kickoff was 2. Georgia State won 36-34. Troy was favored by 2 points. Over/under was 68.5 in that game.
Yeah.
West Virginia falls in a late fumble. I watched the end of that game to Texas Tech 34-27. Boise State looks really good. They beat Utah State 42-13. South Alabama continues to play well. They beat La Monroe 38-14. Out west, you had Nevada beat Wyoming 37-34. You got the Mountain West back, which is exciting.
Yeah.
LSU beat South Carolina 52-24. You had Northwestern play Tallulah Tumbaloa. This is Tua's brother, and they won 43-3.
Wait a minute. Tallulah's brother plays for who?
Maryland.
Oh, boy.
23-3 by Northwestern.
Oh,
Well, I
God.
looked at the stats. Talua's little brother had 3 interceptions and only threw it for 90 yards. He had a rough first game.
And that's a former Alabama offensive coordinator's team. Is that right?
Yeah, and then very impressed. I didn't get to watch too much of it, but Michigan just kicked Minnesota.
I watched a little of that.
At 24.
Yeah, they've got a good young quarterback in Michigan.
Also, later that night, you had Fresno State get beat by Hawaii 34-19. La Tech got beat by Texas San Antonio. Texas San Antonio is pretty good, 27-26. Miami beat Virginia 19-14. Like Dad mentioned, Cincinnati won 42-13 over SMU at SMU. And then Texas State played America's team. BYU continues to be undefeated. BYU beat Texas State 52-14. And then a few more games. Air Force fell to San Jose State 17-6. And San Diego State beat UNLV 34-6.
That was really good, Mike, and I think everybody enjoyed that. That was a good summary of the games played this week, and
a lot more games to talk about. All the conferences are back. We don't even have the Pac-12 yet.
Oh yeah,
But
that's right.
They start this week, don't they?
Do they start this
Or the
week
next
with
one?
Southern Cal and all them?
I think they start in November.
Okay.
Oh really? Well, November is in. All right, that's right.
And then we got Alabama hosts Mississippi State, and Auburn is hosting LSU on the CBS Game of the Week.
Yeah.
Big game on the Plains. LSU's looking better. Auburn, you say what you want to about them, but their record's not too bad.
Alabama's a 33-point favorite against Mississippi State.
Oh me.
What's the line on Auburn LSU?
Auburn's 2.
Auburn's favored by 2.
You know when the Mississippi State coach is put in a situation like that, he might do well. You know, can't tell. He's gonna throw it every down. I'm sure he's not gonna even try to run it probably.
Alabama's pass defense is so suspect.
You know, I said this new doctor is a Harvard guy. Maybe I got him mixed up with being a Mayo Clinic guy. You know, that's where he was. It says he completed his residency at Mayo Clinic Graduate School of Medicine. He also spent time at Mayo Clinic Health System in Fairmont, Minnesota. That's where the main hospital is located. As chairman of the Department of Surgery. That is saying a lot. I'm sure we'll try to get him on our show. Of course, again, Karen Herring does a wonderful job of recruiting doctors to Troy. And he liked the idea that Troy was a college town. And, of course, I think he loves to hunt and fish and do those kind of things. Hey, if you like ball, or if you like a great town that loves the arts, loves the churches here and so forth, and if you like to hunt and fish, hey, you're in paradise in Troy, Alabama. Can't beat it.
Right.
We'll be back with more of Today in L.A. after this. There you are, buddy. How you doing this morning?
You want some coffee?
By its very nature, doing big things takes resilience and strength. You did the hard part. You did it, and will go farther still. Max is proud to be your champion, removing obstacles that get in your way. We make technology easy, saving and funds access uncomplicated, and provide help when and how you want it. You control your money with expert guidance from Max Credit Union. Smart money made simple.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
New Orleans still.
Where he goes. Oh, Albee is excited because the Tigers win. Auburn wins the football game, Mike. Auburn wins the football game. And, of course, it's a big victory for the Tigers over Ole Miss at Ole Miss. Now they're back on the winning trail. Tell us who they've got and where they're going to be playing this week, Mike.
Auburn will be playing at home against LSU on CBS at 2:30.
Whoa, boy, what a game for the Tigers. Do you give them much of a chance, or what are your feelings?
Against LSU, yeah, definitely. I mean, LSU started a freshman quarterback, Finley.
How did he look? Did he look pretty good, Ron?
Yeah.
It looked pretty good to me, but I mean, I would definitely expect Auburn to have a chance to win at home.
But now,
I don't know what the status is on Brendan. I don't know if he'll be back at quarterback or not.
hey, thing about LSU is they can run the football. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing about LSU is their defense has been so bad. So, I mean, I think Auburn's going to definitely be able to score some points. I think this will probably be a shootout.
Yeah. Y'all know who has been extremely quiet? It's Florida. Have they played in the last 2 weeks?
No, they've been off.
They've had COVID issues.
Boy, isn't that amazing? Nobody even mentioned Florida. They've had a great time, a great opportunity to get their football team back running right.
Well, they had to sit out. They had to skip a game because of COVID.
Are they back this week?
Here's your SEC schedule. Georgia is 13 at Kentucky at noon. They're 13-point favorite. You got Ole Miss at Vanderbilt. Ole Miss is an 18-point favorite at Vanderbilt. Mississippi State at Alabama. That game's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So that's 6 p.m. Central. Alabama's a 33-point favorite. Arkansas at Texas A&M. A&M's a 15-point favorite. And then Missouri at Florida. Florida's a 15-point favorite.
Oh, I tell you, those are pretty good games. I tell you one that I love, I just.
This is the last week of regular season of high school football, isn't it? Can you believe that? The high school football regular season is over.
Isn't that amazing? They don't have another good game at all.
Regular season, most teams that don't make the playoffs, that'll be it.
I'd like to get a copy of that high school scores. I'd like to run down through some of them and see how they did. Of course, with the big one in Birmingham, Mike, whoever is coaching this team has really built their program in a hurry. Hoover got beat.
Yeah, Thompson beat him.
Thompson of Alabaster is the one that is the program to beat now in Birmingham. Is that right?
Well, Thompson won the state championship last year.
All right, now Hewitt Trustful is another great one. Is Ramsey good again in football?
Yeah, they're really good.
All right, so, with these playoffs coming up, do the playoffs start this week or next week, Mike?
I think this is the last of the regular season this week. Yeah, because Charles Anderson was supposed to play Bramley. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, that would have been a great game. I would love to see Tucker Kilcrease. He had a tremendous game this weekend. I think he passed for something like 4 or 5 touchdowns, and he ran for 2 or 3 more. So he is quite a player at Brantley, and they've got a linebacker over there too that's real good too.
I tell you what, Vegas is telling me something. This is very interesting to me. Troy at Arkansas State. What do you think the line would be, Bill?
I would say it's probably Arkansas State by 2.
What?
See, I am shocked. I thought Arkansas State would be close to like 9. Right now in Vegas, over under 70.5. The line is -3.5.
Oh gosh.
I mean, that's basically Vegas saying that's a pick 'em.
Especially if you bought the half point. If you bought the half point, go sell your house and I'm being facetious. Hey, put your house on.
I'm not gonna lie, I am shocked by that line. I mean, I know Arkansas State struggled. They're not having a great year.
Nobody plays Troy tougher than Arkansas State. Nobody plays them tougher. I mean, last year, you know, they beat us last year. They have just dominated Troy over the years. In fact, I'd like for you to look that up, Mike. How many times Arkansas State has beaten Troy over the years?
I'll look it up.
But of course, that was one of the big ones. I tell you, the one that jumped out at me already, though. I think Kentucky will. I don't know if they'll win the game, but that's a lot of points to give Kentucky at home. What do you think?
Georgia, Kentucky, and Georgia.
Yeah. As far as stopping this kid, the quarterbacks will have to throw it to win, because I think Kentucky can stop their run. I'm thinking that.
All these games, you really, they all just seem like toss-ups, so you wouldn't be surprised if they win either way. Kentucky, Georgia, I mean, you would think Georgia would win, but you wouldn't be surprised if it was a close game.
I mean, Kentucky just lost to Missouri. I got to think Georgia's going to blow them out.
Mike, what makes you think that about Georgia? I just am totally unimpressed with Georgia. I mean, other than they'll hit you now, they'll hit you hard.
You didn't think Georgia was pretty good when they were up 24-20 against Alabama at the half? I was scared to death.
Were you?
I mean, seriously, you didn't think Georgia was going to win that game? I felt like, other than making that 52-yard field goal, I thought that was a huge momentum thing. that Georgia team scared me.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, that 5'9" quarterback, when somebody told me he was 5'9", I said, "Oh gosh."
Well, the quarterback for
I wouldn't doubt if the backup quarterback might play a lot in that game.
How did the St. Louis Cardinals do against, or the Arizona Cardinals do against Seattle last night?
They won the game at the buzzer.
The Cardinals did?
I think they won it at the buzzer.
I tell you what, man.
Wow.
Kingsbury's a good coach, but Russell Wilson was awful last night. Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions. He wouldn't have lost him the game.
That was a fabulous game. It was something like 38-35.
How did Kenyon Drake do?
I don't know, but they beat Seattle last night. And you're right. I like the Arizona coach.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury's done a great job. I mean, he's a guy that didn't win a whole lot of games at Texas Tech, but he's just a great offensive mind.
Yeah.
They're 5-2 now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course, right now they don't look
that
like
quarterback for them though is shorter than the Georgia quarterback. Now, of course, he runs.
Kyler Murray. Yeah.
He runs like a little jackrabbit.
Oh, Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State, and now the rest of college football. Those teams, Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama. Then you have the rest of the college.
If it goes like chalk, it's going to be Clemson 1, Alabama 2, Ohio State 3. So Alabama better start scouting Ohio State, because that might be who you're playing.
All right, now the very important thing.
I don't know. How do you not jump Alabama when you beat Georgia over Clemson? Alabama should have been number 1.
Yeah.
Clemson's played absolutely nobody.
That's right. You know who they play this week? Boy, they got a tough one at Boston College. Let me just say this, though. You got Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama. Who is the other team? You know, I tell you, Michigan looked pretty impressive. Do y'all see Georgia could possibly
get
move
back
in there?
Yeah.
Or could Florida move in
Florida
there?
could get in there.
If they beat Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, if Oklahoma State wins out, they'll probably come in out of the Big 12.
That might be. Yeah, it might happen. You're right. But who? All right.
But I would not say an undefeated Oklahoma State would not be better than a one-loss Georgia or Florida. I bet. But
I mean, if Alabama goes 10-0 in the SEC and loses the championship game, there's no way you keep them out of the playoffs if you win 10. If you go 10-0 against the SEC, that would be unheard of. To win 10 games against SEC competition, then lose the championship.
Yeah, you would
well,
think,
something you said, you and Rice both agreed on today, and I hate to give all you folks hate Alabama, I hate to give you all this news. These guys claim that Alabama's getting better on defense. If Alabama gets better on defense and gets a shutdown type rush defense, look out. I don't think anybody can beat them, but Ohio State and Clemson are both very good teams.
See, Alabama without Waddle now, that's going to be a huge factor in big games because, you know, you can't double team Waddle and Smith. And Mitchie, the kid, you know, Mitchie's out of Canada. I don't know if we've ever talked about that, Bill.
I know it. I didn't know it.
But, you know, that's going to hurt Alabama tremendously in the big game now against Clemson. You know, Clemson's got a great defensive coordinator. And then, of course, Kirby Smart, you know, is a great defensive-minded coach as well. I think that's really going to hurt Alabama. I mean, I don't know if they'll bring in a guy, one of these freshman receivers that was a five-star, and start playing, you know, these young kids more.
Especially if they get the free, especially if they get to be a freshman again next year. I don't know why they don't play everybody.
I think Slade Bolden looks like he's going to be a good slot possession receiver, though.
Yeah, tell me about Bolden, Mike. Give me the stats on him.
He had hardly ever got any playing time, and then he comes in and catches 6, 7, 8 passes for 100 yards.
He was a quarterback in high school. They signed him as an athlete out of Louisiana. He's a guy that can do a little bit of everything. He could actually, you know, play a little quarterback if they had to have him.
Is he fast? Is he real fast?
He's probably a 4 or 5 guy, wouldn't you say, Bill?
Yeah, not super fast, but he's fast
how
enough.
big is he? Tell me how big he is.
He's short. He's probably about 5'10", about 195 pounds.
Five what?
He's cutting the mold of one of these New England Patriots possession receivers that Brady made a living on.
He looks like an Edelman.
Yeah.
He's real quick.
Now, I watched film of him in high school, and you're right. He played quarterback, wide receiver, running back, defensive back.
All right.
But he made plays in high school, man. And after watching his film, I said that guy he's gonna be a player. And he's kind of, I think he redshirted and then he played a little last year. But he's old enough now that I think he can step in and be another legit target.
Let's see who can get the.
5'11", 191, redshirt sophomore out of West Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay. Is he as good as the former Clemson great pass receiver?
Renfro.
Hunter Renfro?
Yeah. Did you notice how these guys answered the same plays?
God, Renfro.
Renfro was that good of a receiver.
Yeah, well, he beat Alabama one year.
You know, he's playing for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we hope he can be another Renfro.
That's right.
Maybe we'll see how he develops.
That's right.
I hope he'll be just as good as that guy at Auburn that was the 4th-string kicker, Will Hastings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's wonderful to see a kid like this get an opportunity. But now he's a junior. He's been around a couple of years. Is that right?
It says redshirt sophomore.
Oh, redshirt sophomore.
Yes, his third year.
So he'll get the free year next year.
Yeah, if he wants
So
to.
if he does, ladies and gentlemen, what we're saying is every player this year can go back and be, like if he's going to be a senior this year playing right now, he'll be able to be a senior next year. Is that right?
I looked at
You know who will really benefit from that in Alabama is that Brian Robinson, the kid out of Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
All these great
That
backs.
running back, yeah.
Najee Harris will finally graduate. Well, not graduate. He'll leave. Well, actually, it is the senior year, so he'll go play first, second round of the draft. And Brian Robinson can definitely come back and benefit because he's a senior, and he can get another year, and he'll probably be the starter next year.
Who would you rather have, a young Najee Harris or a running back like Texas has got? Who would you rather have? Who would you rather have? You started a team.
Najee.
Like Texas has got. Who's Texas got?
No, Texas in the pros.
Oh yeah, the Ohio State running back.
No, the Alabama running back that won the Heisman, played for Tennessee.
Derrick Henry? Oh, I'll take Henry over.
Over Najee Harris, I don't believe you saying that.
Henry won the Heisman, Dad.
Yeah, he did, but nobody runs the ball with more toughness than Najee Harris.
I like Najee. He's great all-purpose back.
And let me ask you this: who's the best? That's right. Who is the best receiver between the two?
Najee.
See, Najee Harris can do it all, buddy.
Right now, over Najee Harris, I would take Yeldon. I'd take take Lacey. I'd take Ingram.
Oh man, no, not over Najee Harris. No.
I would take every single one of them over Najee.
You might. Yeldon's not better than Najee Harris.
T.J. Yeldon?
T.J. Yeldon, yeah.
Oh my God, he was unbelievable at Alabama.
I'll take number 22. Yeah, of course, they was a great one. My favorite of all time wore number 22. Do y'all know who that was?
Johnny Musso.
The Italian stallion, Johnny Musso.
Mine too. Yeah, he
22.
was my hero when I was a little kid.
But the problem was.
We got Wiley Sanders coming on, don't we?
Yeah, we do, and of course, Wiley Sanders Truck Lines is one of the great places in the country to work, and they're right now recruiting good drivers from here and all around, and to come work for this great company.
Let's talk about Auburn's great little running back they've got. Everybody's talking about.
The Bixby kid?
Yeah, man, he is fun to watch. He breaks tackles. He doesn't look super big, but he runs really downhill and hard. Auburn's going to have fun watching him play for at least 3 more years.
We've got the extra 15 minutes today because so we're gonna be on the air for 15 additional minutes. And of course, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks. Nobody, ladies and gentlemen, can beat a Premier deal. Nobody. And boy, they're selling cars and trucks like never before. Right now on the bypass in Troy, Alabama. Of course, also Troy Bank and Trust Company. The only bank you'll ever need is Troy Bank and Trust Company right here in Troy, Alabama, with 14 locations to choose from. They've just added another location in Dothan. They are growing. And ladies and gentlemen, Troy Bank and Trust Company is not only the only bank you'll ever need. It is one of the very few billion-dollar banks in Alabama, locally owned banks in Alabama. Troy Bank and Trust, right here in Troy. We'll be back in just a moment.
Let's rock! It's Rocktober at Premier. Rock out in a new Ram with rock bottom prices. Save up to $17,777 on new Ram Crew Cab. New Jeep Renegade start at $17,988. Shop us now. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
I'll try my best to start being at the top of it, like 7 o'clock, 7:15, whatever.
How many years we've been doing this?
I know.
Don't change it now.
Hey, since 1998.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. You were doing the show before I got here. I got here in '98.
But you know the thing about you that's the most unbelievable thing. I used to tell old buddy Conley the same way, but you learned on your own. You didn't have anybody that tell you what to do or how to do it. Whatever you learned on your own.
Yeah, that's 100%. Well, I had Ken come in finally and
Well,
help
Ken,
me with a bit.
Well, Ken, you know, of course,
that was on Sundays. So I had to come in on Sundays to work with him so I could be ready for the next week.
I tell you somebody that watches this critique before anybody, Danny Lee. You know Danny pretty well, don't you?
Who?
Danny Lee.
Oh, yeah.
He's my buddy. He said, you don't need to go nowhere, man. He said, I sent them all, and he said, hey, I want to watch you. I like that kind of logic.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got about 500, 600 viewers every day.
Well, I hope so.
On Facebook, so, I mean.
What now?
And that's just on Facebook, so.
Oh, gosh, I do appreciate it.
You got more than that?
And see, once I get these shapes taken care of, I probably won't get it done before too long. Get it over with.
Can't go to shit like you really can't.
All right, brother.
Brother.
Down for the Hawk Daddy show.
Hawk Daddy.